If my kids ask me for something and I say no, it's not because I don't want the best for them. It's just sometimes I know if I give them that, that's not what they really want, and it's not what's actually going to be the best thing for them, and I've got a better yes waiting for them. If I can do that as a flawed parent, how much more would your Father in heaven that loves you actually want to do good for you and to you? Trust the nature and character of God. Don't live in disappointment and not pray because you feel that He let you down. Go to Him again. Trust Him again. He's a loving Father that's got a great plan and purpose for you. Prayer is the greatest weapon we have, and it's the thing we can be certain of in uncertain times. We read in James chapter 5, verse 16, the effective fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. The effective fervent prayer of a righteous person, man or woman, it avails much. Now, I particularly love the way this is written in the Message Bible, and Eugene Peterson translates this beautifully. The prayer of a person living right with God is something powerful to be reckoned with. Don't you love that? The prayer of a person living right with God is something powerful to be reckoned with. Come on, somebody. Don't underestimate the power of prayer. The most powerful weapon at our disposal as believers is the weapon of prayer, and it is also the most underutilized. In Matthew 18, verses 18 to 19, Jesus says, assuredly I say to you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Again, I say to you that if two of you agree on earth concerning anything they ask, it will be done for you. It will be done for them by my Father in heaven. It will, not it might. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And here we go. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. These verses basically make me want to run a lap around the studio. Seriously, look at what we have at our disposal. We're not in this fight alone. We're not in the trial alone. We're not in the tribulation alone. We can be certain, while everything is cray-cray out there, that when we go to God in prayer, He listens to us and He acts on our behalf. I think because so often maybe we don't see immediate change when we've prayed, we wonder if God is really listening to us, or basically, does He even really care? I get it. But I want to encourage you today that according to His word, we can know that God cares for us. We can know that God listens to us. We can know that God invites us to trust Him and to go to Him in prayer. Listen, you don't need to complicate prayer. You just need to remember the power of a simple prayer. There's not a formula. You don't have to read 15 books about it. I remember one conference speaker that was going to speak on the whole subject of prayer, had 1 hour for a session. The conference host introduced the speaker, did this big spiel, this 10-minute introduction about how wonderful this speaker was, all the books they'd written, all the things they'd done. And then the speaker just stood up. And this was it. It was a 1-hour session. This is the entire content of her talk on prayer. She just simply stood up and said, prayer. Open mouth and pray. Open your mouth and pray. That's all you have to do. And then she sat down, and the conference host had 59 minutes and 35 seconds left in that session. So she did what any good conference host would do. It's like, okay, we're all now going to bow our knees and pray for the next 59 minutes. But can I just say, a lot of us talk about prayer, we read about prayer, we blog about prayer, we listen to podcasts about prayer, and we do everything but pray. But prayer changes things. The power is not in begging or in the volume of prayer, but in trusting the one that you are praying to. You know, when something comes up, just bring it immediately to God. I don't have any magic formula. Wherever I am, whatever I'm feeling in that moment, I talk to God. I talk to, no wonder Paul says, pray without ceasing. I'm talking to God all day, and if something happens that moment, If someone asks me to pray for them, I do it that moment. If I'm sitting and I'm answering something and I've put out and I said to people, I'm going to pray with you for that moment as everything is coming in, I'm praying in real time. Just, God, would you bless this person? Lord, would you heal this person? Lord, would you deliver this person? Lord, would you restore that marriage? Lord, would you give them the desire of their heart for a baby? Father, would you give them provision? Would you give them that opportunity? It doesn't have to be rocket science, but just pray, believing that He's listening and believing that He cares. Can I say we're in a spiritual battle? So never underestimate the power of prayer. Someone today has stopped praying that's watching this. And the reason you've stopped praying is because you feel that God did not answer your prayers, or God gave you a no when you really wanted a yes. Or maybe, some of you go, well, Chris, I tried the praying thing, but I seriously, if I was honest with you, I feel like I'm talking to an imaginary person in the sky. And basically you think you've made this whole thing up in your head. So I feel prompted to pray for you right now. Pray that God will put a fresh desire in you to pray again, to trust Him again. I'm praying for those of you that think maybe, is this God thing real? Is He an imaginary friend? I'm praying that He's going to reveal Himself to you in a very, very personal and intimate way, so that you know that He truly sees you, that He truly hears you, that He is not some just imaginary pie in the sky that you've made up in your fantasy, that He is real, that He sees you, that He knows, and that He cares. And those of you that are disappointed because you didn't get the answer that you thought you wanted, I'm believing and praying in Jesus' name that God helps you to trust Him, to know that if He said no, it means He's got a better yes somewhere in the future. I just want you to know, as a woman that's been walking with Jesus for decades, I am so glad now for some of the things that God said no. I'm so glad He didn't give me what I thought I wanted, because if He gave me what I thought I wanted, you know what? I wouldn't be doing what He's called me to do today. You don't know what God has saved you from. This is what you can do. You can trust the character of God. You can trust that if God said no, it's because He's got a better yes. It's not because He just sort of gets really excited withholding things from you. If my kids ask me for something and I say no, it's not because I don't want the best for them. It's just sometimes I know if I give them that, that's not what they really want, and it's not what's actually going to be the best thing for them, and I've got a better yes waiting for them. If I can do that as a flawed parent, how much more would your Father in heaven that loves you actually want to do good for you and to you? Trust the nature and character of God. Don't live in disappointment and not pray because you feel that He let you down. Go to Him again. Trust Him again. He's a loving Father that's got a great plan and purpose for you. Prayer is the greatest weapon we have, and it's the thing we can be certain of in uncertain times. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. I hope you'll share your thoughts in the comments, and if you feel led, please share this video with a friend who needs to see it. Thanks so much for watching.